Media Giant Haley. I'm the presenter of the Feldcare Connects podcast, and I'm with the CEO of Feldcare, Randy Pellid, and also in marketing, Julia. What is your title, Julia, so that people know?
Um, Marketing administrator.
Okay. All right. So marketing, the head of marketing administration for Feldcare Connects. Appreciate it, guys. Our topic today is one that, I've been really excited, Randy and Julia, when we've been talking in the first four podcasts about Feldcare and the amazing things. And it would be something I would say, you know what? I should do a business like this back in the day. I remember when I was an early intervention specialist, birth to three, and I had an in-home tutoring business, how great going to the home was and how rewarding it was, Randy. And, talking about this opportunity for a franchise is so important. But tell us specifically enough your success at Feldcare Connects and why you've decided to do franchises now.
Sure. Thank you for having us, and I'm really excited to share my story. Um, Feldcare started back in 2011 or somewhere 2012, somewhere around there. But I had, with a friend, opened up a home health agency years ago. And going through that process, I recognized that there was something missing for the home health agencies. So through that process, Feldcare was born. And the piece that was missing was the physical, occupational, and speech therapy. How does the home health agencies have access to those therapists? Because so busy marketing to doctors, getting referrals, finding nurses, dealing with the home care aides, they don't have time to go to all the conventions and job fairs to recruit all those therapists. There was a real niche in the market, partnering with home health agencies, started out in California, um, marketing with home health agencies and partnering with home health agencies throughout California, and eventually expanded into different areas. But finding PTs, OTs, and speech is a real art. It's very time consuming. And then the home health agencies need the support, the administrative support on the processes for the rehab. So we made it really streamlined. We even created an app for the therapists that it's called Clinic Connects that they can download on the phone. It's kind of like Uber for home health. And they simply just set their territory and their radius, and they can accept those referrals as those offers are coming through. So it's really a simple model.
It definitely seems so after talking about it, because I remember, and I had these conversations with your therapists, and they talk about, and also with Shahar, and Shahar said basically, your son, he said to me, and who's the COO of Feldcare Connects, and he kind of told me, the challenges when he first came in and with Feldcare, and he fixed that problem, fixed the solution. Because, having to deal with paper and answering the phone calls and going through and then having to track down the right therapist for the right patient was so difficult and daunting.
Back when we started, it was so old school. Everything was paper. You should have seen the office.
Paper in
5,000,
Randy's head.
oh my God, paper and Randy's head. Can you imagine, seriously, thousands of therapists? And I do have like this ridiculous thing or knack that I remember the therapist on the map. I like see them on the map. And so it's like, okay, where can this, you know, how can we help this patient? Where is this therapist? And then Shachar was a brainstorm on Clinic Connects and created an app where it's a matching solution. And it streamlined so many things. We got rid of paper. It just made things more efficient, and just amazing, amazing.
I remember those days, especially as an intervention birth to three therapist, when the company, it was not home health agency, but it's almost the same type of model. They would give us like all this paperwork and everything, and here's the contact information, and there would be a folder, and you have to go pick up all the folders and put them in a bag and say, okay, now I got to go call. And it was such a pain. It was so difficult. And I could imagine what you dealt with. Now, Julia, that's the other part that makes it a great opportunity. We're going to go into Randy why franchises. after I kind of want to delve back into this difficult, challenging thing of what FeldCare was till Clinique Connects, that it makes it really an easy way to connect the therapist and the others. So why franchises? And Julia, you can kind of go into that, and then Randy, you can add to it.
Yeah. So taking it out of the paper world and putting it into an app does allow us to then offer the franchise model to other people, because obviously you don't really want to give them something that's like, well, you kind of need Randy's brain and a bunch of paper and hopefully you have that. And that's not very duplicable. So by creating the app and putting it all into software, we can essentially present it to somebody else in another state or in another area with their own connections, or who are excited to make those connections with home health agencies and with, physical therapists, speech therapists, and occupational therapists in their area. And they can use the app and use the resources that we have to basically create a community model within their zone that they're excited about. Because the biggest thing about this, and I know I've spoken to Randy about this many times, just as a marketer also, is that there's like a passion behind it to help the local community and to help your area and the population in your area. So if we can provide the resources and the model for somebody to build their own business off of that, it's very exciting and it really helps their community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just to, right on that, that we're in the geriatric population primarily. We do service all ages, but it is really the elder community. And obviously, baby boomers are a large percent of that population. So
Exactly.
having developed FeldCare, it's like a roadmap on what we do and how we partner with home health agencies and therapists. And it's an entire training module for an entrepreneur that wants to get into the business, but they don't want to start from scratch. It's like, okay, pulling my hair out, what do I do? So it's like, okay, this is a perfect solution because we've literally laid out the entire roadmap from A to Z on what to do, how to market, how to support the therapist, how to partner with the home health agencies. And we provide that full-on training to that potential franchisee, that entrepreneur that wants to get their foot in the door. And it's a great opportunity. They're just throughout the entire country, but there are therapists that don't actually want to treat anymore. They don't want to like deal with one-on-one bodies, but they still want to be in the healthcare field and they want to help and they want to support the community. And that's an ideal entrepreneur potentially because they have so much background and training in the field already. But we're here to provide that corporate support and help them expand and help their community.
And I start thinking, this would be a perfect business opportunity for someone like myself at one point in time, because it already has a system and processes in place. Here's the big thing about a system and process is you just have to go in and find the right operator if you're an entrepreneur that understands this industry. And if you already do and you've been a therapist, they have the systems already in place for you. So you just have to plug and play, find the right people, and they've gone through all the headaches already, right, Julia? They've already gone through the challenges.
Yeah.
You now have an opportunity in a growing population that needs home health, that home health agencies need therapists like crazy. This is huge.
Yeah,
Right, Julia?
absolutely. Yeah, it definitely helps the home health agency's patients, have the resources to continue to live in their homes and to continue to, be supported by their family. And then it provides additional support of, they can bend down and pick up something. They, all the things that they're going to need to be able to do, so that they don't have to go into like a nursing home or assisted living, and they can, live out their lives more comfortably, maybe enjoy that retirement a little bit more than they would have otherwise. So just yeah, providing that local support and that help is so valuable. And we're so fortunate to have developed a really fantastic system that is replicable in other states and other franchises. And somebody with, the grit and determination to be an entrepreneur can actually take up that training and start doing their own, building their own business in the area that they live. And that's so great because, as Randy said, everyone working in this industry has such a passion to help those patients and to make their lives better. And they also usually have a passion for the work itself, even if maybe they don't want to be hands-on in like physical therapy or whatever their specialty is. But they generally still have that passion and that drive to help. And this provides them with that opportunity to build their own business, exercise that passion and really help others in their community, which is so cool and so rewarding.
It seems definitely. And Randy, there are opportunities in many states, right? Which areas do you have that I guess are where Feldcare covers? Anywhere else is where franchises are available then, right? Correct?
So we are nationwide. We're in several different states, Hawaii, California, Arizona, Nevada, Texas, Florida, Idaho. We constantly get those offers for other states, but that doesn't mean that a franchisee, they can come into Florida, they can come into
Oh,
Texas.
really? Okay.
Yep,
Oh yeah.
they can come into Arizona, Nevada, Seattle. We're not there, but there's just across the country, anywhere that someone wants to open up wants to be a franchisee. They want to get their foot in the door. They want to have a proven model that works. They could start.
I think that's great. And that was really interesting. I didn't know. I thought that if you already were in that state that they couldn't open up a franchise. So it's available wherever the area is where you feel, because then that's the other big part of it when people contact you is, hey, is this going to be the right fit? And when you go through a franchisee, you're making sure they are prepared and ready, and could they really handle this opportunity?
That's right. And each state does have their little nuances, little differences that we have to legally comply with. But, that's part of the coaching and that's part of the support that corporate does, that we provide to that franchisee. So they really have, they can come in literally with not knowing how it works or the industry. They can come in, it could be someone even in recruiting that they love talking to people, that they love creating, and just really mocking that whole thing up. And with that energy, they can come on board and they can be fully trained in the entire process.
And Julia, there's always going to be a need. So it's a business opportunity that you know is not going to disappear anytime soon.
No, no, yeah. The elder population is continuing to grow, and it's certainly one that does need help in the physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy fields, because more people do enjoy living in their homes. They want to enjoy their longer retirements, and they do need that support. So they can, they're going to continue to need it over time. And as probably anyone who works in this area, even if it's tangentially, they're going to know that this area is growing. And because we don't just support the elder population as well, there's always a need to have help in your home when it comes to physical therapy and occupational speech. So all of those things are such great supports, and rehab is so valuable in so many levels for a wide number of conditions and situations. So yeah, it's never going away. That's for
All right.
sure.
So Randy, tell us about defining home health agencies and what they basically do. So has that evolved also, Randy, since you started home health agencies, since the first time you've opened up the doors of Feldcare to today? The
Has it
evolution?
evolved?
Mm.
I think it's a good question. It's evolved because of Medicare and Medicare Advantage and the insurances and the reimbursements. So, prior to 2000 and prior to patient-driven grouping model and value-based program, there was more services available for the patients to receive the either nursing or therapy or whatever those needs are. But through time, because of changes in Medicare and the reimbursements, um, it's it's a little bit more challenging to provide those services to the patients because of the reimbursements. So in that respect, home health has changed. It's fewer, it's potentially not as many visits that they would normally get prior to 2000. They're still getting the therapy that they need to get back to a prior level of functioning, but the insurances are trying to get the patients to outpatient sooner. So it's changing it's changing the field with that respect. But still, like Julia said, keeping the patient in the home, getting them back to a prior level of functioning. But the agencies, it's still, the operations are still very similar. It's not on paper anymore. It's electronic medical record systems for documentation. You have to document quickly for submitting the documentation to Medicare and to the insurances for reimbursements. So there are changes in billing in the home health world, which does make it more challenging. And part of the thing that the home health agencies look for with a therapy group or referral entity like ourselves is they need that support to make sure the therapists are documenting quickly, seeing the patients on time, so they can turn around all that administrative piece on their end to make sure they're having the finances come in to support their business as well. So they really need FeldCare and our support to help them through that administrative process on their end.
All right. So, Julia, talk about the marketing piece. Here we go. This is where, oh, I start a franchise, but I really don't know how to tell the community that I'm out there. That's why someone like you is a piece of what FeldCare provides to help in that process to at least get that guy going. Is that correct?
Yeah, so there are a lot of elements because we are really talking to two different groups. You're talking to the local home health agencies because you want to create a referral partnership with them. And then you're also talking to therapists and you're creating a referral partnership with them as well. So there are many elements and many moving parts when it comes to marketing with those. One that's obviously been very successful is actually going to those job fairs, which is what Randy spoke to earlier, saying, home health agencies just don't have the time to do that because we are a referral service and any franchisee would also be a referral service. They do take that on and they do go to those fairs in person and get that, start doing that kind of like getting the word out there. Obviously, there's marketing solutions for your website, for social media, all the different kinds of outreach that you're going to want to do, creating, graphics and signage and having all of that branding in place because we are a known brand and we are nationwide. It's one exciting part of franchising is we have gone to the millions of conferences and fairs and all those places. Randy herself often is the one who goes, and she is, very well known. Our brand is really well known. So that's one of the really cool things about clicking into a franchise like that is you already have that brand and that name recognition. So you're just kind of, scooped into our marketing, and you have that ability to then look at what we've been doing, do your own marketing, and use the branding that's super well known already. So That's a really exciting piece of franchising.
And
right.
also, just to add on to that, along with going to all the associations, the conventions for PT, OT, and speech, and also the national ones, we're also going to home health conventions in the different states. So that's how the home health agencies get to know FeldCare. Uh, who are we? How can we help them? And we do a lot of that marketing as well.
Interesting. Last question is, so you're offering franchises, is it just for the elder population, or what if you wanted to go into the more the early intervention population? For
So, yep. So, great question, Neil. And in the home health world, agencies can support either from on their contract, that's how they get licensed. They can service 18 to 120 or older. Or they can include birth to 120 or older, right? So if they don't include that birth to that elder age, they can't service that younger population. If they do include it, then they can. So it could be early intervention, but not in the way the state provides it. Now, we're not connected with regional center or state programs. Now, does that mean that somebody can't go off and do that? They can, but it's an entirely different program. It's an educational model. It is not a medical model. And I'm FeldCare doesn't focus on the educational model.
okay, very interesting. That's important to see because, as I talked about, I guess I was in the educational model when I worked in Allegheny County in Pittsburgh
Yep.
eons ago, well, 18 years ago. But that's where I kind of understand the model. But when you're talking, I see you can add that component if it's something with feeding or something medical that they need a therapist to come in for versus the educational side. Got
Right.
it.
Like in California, there are because of state cutbacks and insurance and whatnot, there have been a number of little guys, kiddos that have not been able to receive services through the states. So insurance will pick it up, and we'll go in and provide that through a home health agency, but it's a medical model.
Okay. All right. Well, fantastic. But I guess there's enough of a population out there. So, what about the final point before we end? If you're interested in learning about the costs and opening up your own franchise, where's the best place they can go?
To me. They can reach out to me. They can definitely go to our website, feldcareconnects.com, or they can call me directly. Anyone could reach me. Call me my direct phone number. I don't know if I should put that out there now, but they can certainly do that. They can call the main number at Feldcare and reach me that way. But I am the main contact, and we'll get the show on the road.
All right. Well, thanks again, Randy and Julia. Appreciate it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right. That was a special simulcast of the Neil Haley Show on the Feld Care Connect